Hi, I'm Stan Henry, Mayor of Cathedral City, and this is my council report. Today, I'd like to talk to you about cannabis here in Cathedral City, and since it has been approved in the state of California since January 2018, what's some of the do's and don'ts and where we are today in Cathedral City. You can buy recreational cannabis and medical cannabis in Cathedral City. Been able to do that for some time, but as of January, you can buy the recreational. What you need to know, that doesn't mean you can take your cannabis and just use it anywhere you'd like. Cannabis is still against the law to be under the influence in driving, just like alcohol. It's against the law to use in a public place. I want to also bring you up to date about where we are in Cathedral City. 3 years ago, cannabis sales was illegal in Cathedral City. Even medical cannabis, even though it was legal, you couldn't purchase it in Cathedral City. You'd have to have gone outside of Cathedral City to be able to purchase that. That had an economic impact on our city. We were shutting down illegal dispensaries. We would have to file lawsuits, and we would have to go through the criminal system or the court system, even the civil system, to be able to shut those down. And that was an expense that we were not recouping, and sometimes it was costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to do that. So 3 years ago, the City Council, with the recommendations from the community, made the decision to allow cannabis sales in Cathedral City. At that time, again, it was medical sales. Today it's medical and recreation because of the change of the law. So the lessons that we learned originally we had we were going to allow 3 licenses. Again, we got ourselves into some lawsuits with some of the business people over why we would allow one and not another and stuff. And the decision with the council made was to let the industry decide, just like that we do with grocery stores, other businesses. You know, we don't sit there and say you can't have 3 tire stores, you can't have 6 automotive stores, you can't have 4 grocery stores. We let the industry kind of decide about that. And so that's been the position of the council for the last couple of years. With that in mind, let me give you a little bit of where we are today. We have in the city, we've got 75 cultivation licenses. 10 of those are actually in operation. We've got 27 licenses or applications that businesses have put forth. To date, none are in operation. We have 16 delivery service licenses that have been approved. We've got 5 that are in operation. We've got 23 dispensaries that have been approved. 11 are in operation today. And we got 14 distribution licenses that have been approved. To date, none. I want to go back to the dispensaries to give you a little update about that. Like I said, we have 23. You might think that that's a lot. It kind of is. But again, we're going to let the industry decide where that's going to kind of fall out. Are all 23 of those dispensaries going to make it? We don't know. Some people tell us that this is a $3 billion business in the state of California. Is there a need for that? Possibly. We're not sure yet, but the industry is going to make that decision. One of the things that we did do, because there were so many dispensary licenses that were being asked for, is we put a moratorium south of I-10 on any more dispensaries other than those that have already been approved. So you're not going to get any more than what's been approved south of I-10. North of I-10, it's kind of a blank canvas, and as we're working through the process of zoning and building with the developers and stuff, you may see some more dispensaries along with some more cultivation and manufacturing, and maybe even some distribution sites up there. But we're still working through that because as of today, nothing has been built at that time. Let me kind of give you an explanation about what all these licenses mean. A dispensary is the retail side, so that's going to be where you're going to go just like you'd go into the market and you would buy whatever the products are at the market. Cultivation is those sites where they actually grow the raw product. The manufacturer is, you're going to take that raw product and you're going to turn that into something that could be used outside other than just smoking it. If you want to have it in an edible, they're going to have to be able to take that and process it to where it can get down to the oils or that to be able to put into an edible. It's going to be that taking it and it's going to put it into a cream or a lotion or a vape, if that's what you're going to do. So those are the differences between cultivation and manufacturing. A dispensary distribution would be that would take it from the cultivator or the manufacturer and get it out there to the dispensaries so that it can be out there for your personal use. Delivery services are those that if you are unable to get to the dispensary, they have the ability to deliver that to you at your home, your office, or wherever it is that you're going to be able to want to get that. We have so many, 10 licenses for cultivation. We have 5 licenses already in operation for delivery, and we have 11 dispensaries in operation. Kind of give you an idea of what that means in our commercial areas. We have 38,400 square feet that's currently in operation. We have approved 637,000 square feet of industrial area or area that is commercial that is available, that's been approved, that one of these licenses will be in. And there is the potential out there as we look forward into the future, there's the potential of another 590,000 square feet that could be out there. And why is that important? Because that helps generate revenue to the city, and I'll talk about the revenue here in a minute, but it also helps build some new commercial sites. It helps build some new industrial sites so that there can be other types of businesses that can be integrated into those areas that are doing these types of businesses. I mentioned that this can be very profitable to the city because we have, and you have passed, taxes on cannabis. For the gross dispensary sales, it's 10% of all gross sales. So you go out and you buy something, you're going to pay a tax on that as 10% of whatever that gross sale is. If you are a cultivator, then you're going to pay $15 a square foot on all cannabis cultivation space. So when we talked about that 400,000 square feet of cultivation space, you times that by $15 per square feet on a rough average, and that'll give you to what that can mean as revenue to the city. When you get down to the not from the raw products, but you get down to the products of concentrated, infused products, it's 40 cents per gram. So if you buy a brownie and it's got 1 gram of cannabis in it, you'll pay 40 cents for that 1 gram, along with whatever they're charging you for that product. So if it's $1.40, it's $1 for the product, 40 cents for the cannabis that's infused into whatever that product is. So let me tell you what that means to revenue to Cathedral City. In 2016-17, we had about $500,000 in actual revenue, $449,870 in actual revenue. So that is new money that has come into Cathedral City to help pay for the infrastructure, personnel, all the costs to be able to run the city. So that's new revenue that has come in 16-17. In 17-18, which is the budget year that we're in now, the potential projected revenue is $1.2 million, $1.25 million in projected revenue from as the businesses grow and as the more and more come online, we're actually going to be able to increase our revenues to that. 2018-19, that goes from 1.2 million to 2.5 million. So it almost doubles as that projected revenue. 2019-20, the projected revenue is $3.7 million. So as you can see, this is a great revenue source that is here for Cathedral City. And why is that important? Because we have looked at ways to be able to try to diversify our revenues to be able to operate the city. As you know, we rely quite heavily on the auto sales. And when we had the recession and the auto sales went down, our revenues went down substantially, and that made it very difficult for the city to be able to operate, and we had to actually make some layoffs and stuff. So this is a way that we've been able to diversify the revenues along with some other ways and bring in other taxations with TOT tax, which is transient occupancy tax, and a utility use tax and some others. But this is another way to help diversify that revenue. The potential in revenues for 2021 is $5 million. So you can see that this has the potential to be able to help us be able to provide more services for you as the residents of Cathedral City. Just to give you an idea, that out there, 2021 and beyond, the revenues could be up to $25 million. It's anticipated in 2021, total projections could be close to $48 million. Now that's a big number. Is it going to happen? We're not 100% sure. We don't know how many of those businesses are actually going to really make it. But if you were to take all the ones that have been approved, all the ones that are anticipated opening, and you add up either the square footage or what you anticipate based off of past history of sales, we could have that number of over $25 million. That is great for our city because it provides future revenue for our roads, road repair and maintenance, provides future revenue for police and fire as we look to improve our public safety. It provides future revenue for our parks and for recreational services that we can be able to provide to our communities. It provides future revenue for just general city services. We've got community development, and we've got our code enforcement. We have other areas that we need to be able to provide revenue to be able to provide better services. Now that we have cannabis here in Cathedral City, what does that mean to you? Are we going to have a dispensary on every corner? Are we going to have a grow facility or a cultivation facility in every industrial area? No, it doesn't. We have some prohibitions, and we have some areas that it's prohibited. You can't be within 600 feet of a school or a daycare or a youth center. You can't be within 250 feet of East Palm Canyon or within 300 feet of a residential area. So there are some restrictions. And most of our cannabis locations are going to be in light industrial, our large cultivation sites, which we believe is going to be the majority of what is going to be taking place in Cathedral City, is going to mostly be north of I-10. There's a blank canvas up there. There's the ability for them to have agricultural areas that be indoors that they can be able to build and grow those cannabis cultivational areas there. Kind of wrapping it up, what have we learned? Well, first of all, like I said, 3 years ago, we had cannabis. It was illegal to have a dispensary or something in Cathedral City, and we were spending millions of dollars defending that, going through either the courts to be able to close them down or stop that activity. We've changed that. We've allowed it. We've gone from numerous lawsuits, again costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we don't have any lawsuits. So we've changed that window. We've changed that system to where we are now in a position to where we can regulate it, and we can work with those that are legitimate. If you have an illegitimate business, those will get closed down, but we are working with those that have legitimate businesses and that are licensed. We've worked to be able to identify where we've had some issues, odor being the main one. We know that put a new type of a business in an old building doesn't necessarily compatible just as it is. We've had to work on ceiling doors. We've had to work on ceiling windows. We've had to add ventilation systems. We've had to add additional cleaning of the air with charcoal systems so that it will clean that air before it goes out into the ventilation system. We've identified those businesses that have had issues. We're working through code enforcement and our planning and community development divisions to work to say, hey, You need to seal this window better. You need to add more ventilation. You need to add more scrubbing systems. So we're working on those things. We're going to get those systems to where they are compatible for the areas that they're in. The good thing is the new buildings that are going to be built, they're going to be housing some of those. We know what the problems are and we can build them to suit so that we don't have some of those same issues. You know, I want to close and give you an update on one of the cultivation sites that's currently being built in Cathedral City. On Ramon Road, east of Day Palm, you've got a 500,000 square foot facility called Suniva. You can drive by there and you can see it. The walls are going up right now and stuff. You know, that is going to be a state-of-the-art grow facility. It's going to be a cannabis cultivation facility. It's going to be 500,000 square feet. That's going to bring revenue into the city. But they're doing state-of-the-art. They're going to have a state-of-the-art air cleansing system. They have a state-of-the-art water recycling system. They're going to have a greenhouse roof that is all glass so that they can utilize the sun that we have out here, so that they can eliminate some of the electricity that they're going to have to use. So it's going to look just like a beautiful office facility that would be in any area in Cathedral City or any other city that's out there. You know, these new businesses want to be in our city. They want to be part of the community. They don't want to just be a business that's out there and not part of the community. Suniva has done a fantastic job of doing that. Before they built their facility, or in the process of designing the facility, they met with the neighbors. One of the things that they're going to be putting in is a dog park for the neighbors in that area. Other things that they've done, they've been sponsors of our Hot Air Balloon Festival. They're the title sponsor of our Taste of Jalisco, so that they want to be part of the community, not just a business that's here. They're looking to hire our local citizens so that there are jobs available for citizens of Cathedral City. These are good paying jobs. So that gives you an idea of what is coming. There are some others like that are planned, along with some of the smaller facilities that are already in operation. I want to thank you, and I hope this has been informational for you to where you can understand what cannabis is now in Cathedral City.